but she's easy on the soul. She's so easy on the soul. She gives me something good, something whole, and she's easy on the soul. She's easy on the soul. She's so easy on the soul. She gives me something good, something whole, and she's easy on the soul. Every day I sit near the corner, and achingly I long to cross her path.
All right. Well, here we are, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm thrilled that I'm here too. And the theme for this month, you know, we are, along with most of the other worldwide centers for spiritual living, following this theme that's the world that works for everyone. So first, I need to say something about that, and that is, it's such a grand idea, and it's such a big concept that no one can really conceive of how to do it, but our hearts can feel that it's possible, you know? And that's what a vision's supposed to do. It's supposed to stretch you beyond what you feel capable of right now, and something that just, you know, excites you. So we decided as an organization that what we ought to do is spend a year studying how could we be so that the world could work for everyone, because just like peace on the outside doesn't happen until there's peace in the inside, the world isn't going to work for everyone unless it works for us one by one. And together we'll learn, if I want to be respected, then I'll have to respect myself. And if I want to be in peace with another country, my country has to be in peace with itself. And so we're in that dynamic experience of change, where everything is up. And sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable when we're in those moments of change. And one of the reasons that spiritual community works is that it's a place to learn how to do that and find your authenticity, find your voice, find your passion, find your clarity, find your ability to forgive, your ability to accept. All of the things that are needed for the world to be peaceful, we must practice with ourselves wherever we are. So I am doing a workshop this afternoon, and I invite you to come. And what I want to say is that being in Ukraine for 15 years, it's been a very burnishing experience. My daughter's a potter, and there's the one kind of firing, you know, pit firing. That sort of feels like a lot of what my life has been like is being pit fired. In the center of the fire, finding the courage to not run away. Or in the center of the fire, finding a way to see the truth and love anyway. And I suppose that's really no different than any of our lives. You know, because we all have stuff going on, and every bit of what's going on is designed so that we can rise to a higher level of consciousness. Even the stuff we don't like is here for us. And as hard as that is to believe sometimes, experience has proven it. That if we use the stuff that comes along to become a wiser, more loving, kinder, more forgiving, more accepting person, the results are so much more magnificent than if we try to hold on to our little corner of how it should be. Because that's a painful place, and it doesn't work very well. So I'm really happy to be here. I almost didn't make it. My mom is in hospice in Vancouver. In fact, I noticed that my sister called me during the break, which I didn't notice, but I'll call her later. And but I came here because we have 4 siblings, and Mom really can't handle all of us at the same time. I don't think she ever could, really. I don't know that we ever could. But it is a blessing to be with her. It is such a blessing to be with someone as they're returning to that infinite place of pure spirit. And it's sad, of course, but none of us leave here alive. And it's a wonderful thing to see how much love there is and to give thanks for it. And all of that makes life more meaningful. So I'm here to share with you today just a little of the wisdom that I have. I invite you to come to the workshop this afternoon because in Ukraine, as many of you know, there's a war. Now, before the war, nobody ever even heard the word Ukraine. And so you could say, you know, it's really great because now everybody knows that there's a Ukraine. So thank you for that. Because everything does have good in it for us. Everything can be used for good. In fact, that's our mission in Ukraine, using all things for good. So we took a vow shortly into the war as a result of me asking a question of a small group of practitioners. We have 15 practitioners there right now. And we teach in 3 different cities, and we're having our 13th annual Science Mind Conference in August, and there's flyers about it on the table right outside the back door. You're all invited. And it's going to be great music. I just wish I could figure out how to get you there. So if anybody wants to help me do that, just come and talk to me. Anyway, so we took this vow. When I asked them, I said, what's a spiritual being to do when faced with war? What the first words out of the practitioner who was with me on the very first day in Ukraine. I arrived on September 11th, 2001 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the next day I had 2 healing circles and radio, television, and newspaper interviews. And this woman, Olga, and her 12-year-old daughter were with me. And she's a practitioner in our community. And so she said, what a spiritual being is to do in the face of conflict is to remove the aggression from our hearts. So now, if you, like me, look out onto the sea of humanity and feel a little distraught about what we've done with all this good that is here for us, then I ask you to join us in this Peace Now movement. Because it's only through peace now within me and within you that we have a hope in heaven of having peace on earth. But the good news, I can just give you a little incentive. The good news is I had a vision that it happens in my lifetime. Well, that's not going to happen if you don't join me. So I really invite you to do that. Okay, so let's see. When the world seems to be going to pieces, and it can feel like hell, and things are being pulled apart, and there feels like there's so many polarities, and all that you wanted was to be a kinder person, and instead all that you're getting is all these cranky people in your life, don't despair. Because if those cranky people are showing up, it's a sure sign that you're on the right path and you are doing the right thing. Because they wouldn't be there if you weren't ready to release that part of you that believes in crankiness. They would not show up unless you were ready to let that go. So imagine that every single thing in our lives that rubs us the wrong way is there in support of our becoming kinder and more loving and more open, and to be a place of healing. And what is healing but the revealing of truth? And what is the truth? All beings are created equal. We are born from one God for the love of this God. We are born from one life for the experience of living it fully. We are born from one possibility, one immense, infinite possibility, that we might realize a speck of it, and that we might realize it to the best of our ability. And that means not playing small. That means listening to that, what's often called a little small voice. Well, I don't know about you, but in these days, that little small voice has to be louder, because there's so many other big noisy voices out there that say, it's always been this way, there's always been war, there will never be peace. People are just like that, you always have to watch your back. When you get old, it's always like that. We can't do it, it won't, I can't, I don't know how. All those things barraged from a past consciousness that is on its way out. And all these messages are just the dying words. Yeah. It is not the truth. The truth is we are born to be the magnificent beings that we are. And you know it. No matter how you're showing up, you know. Every one of us knows. Every one of us has that life force in us, and every one of us feels it sometimes. And even if it's just a little, tiny little bell, hear it. Hear it. Awake to the message that's trying to get your attention. Because life is meant to be lived, to be given completely. I just read somewhere, I can't remember, a really interesting way of it was how it was said. It said, it's God gives everything. It's its purpose, its nature, its style to give everything unconditionally, constantly to everyone. And so it gives and gives, but what happens? We have to receive it. If we don't receive it, it just continues on down the road. Our job is to receive this good. To do that, we have to believe ourselves worthy of it. To do that, we have to let go of those stories that say it ain't so. We have to give up the I can'ts and the no's. And we have to find what is the purpose of our individual life. What piece of the puzzle do you hold? What if your piece of the puzzle is the critical thing for your family to totally transform itself and to become this place of inspiration and love? And why wait until somebody's dying to do it? Don't do that. But if someone's dying, do it. We did it in the kitchen 2 days ago. A conversation, long time coming. Because we could, because it wanted to happen, and because, well, why not? Why not step into the love that's there? Why withhold just because something stupid happened 40 years ago? Or because somebody behaves a way you don't like? Or because any of those crazy reasons. There's no good reason for being out of love and out of harmony with the people in our lives. No good reason. I had the immense joy this weekend, as Lynn spoke, to facilitate a practitioner retreat Friday night and Saturday I've been to this community twice, 3 times, I can't remember. I love it here. There is something very, very powerful here in this community. There is a readiness to discover what is the real meaning of a spiritual living center, starting with me, one center at a time. This lives in this community, and I travel a lot. There is a service and a consciousness here that is exquisite. And it is greater than anything unlike it. And our job as spiritual beings is to focus on that greater truth, that greater possibility, and get our attention off of whatever we put our attention on. Like, I'd like one service, or I think there should be more parking, or, I'd like the color would be better green, or, any of the things that we spend our silly time on. We'll always have differences, but the truth of the matter is we're all here for the same reason, and that is to wake up and to stay awake longer and to learn how to love ourselves and to love each other by finding the source of strength, which is in this divine presence, which is at the heart of every one of us. It is the essence of who we are, and we don't have to be rich or tall or thin or young or anything to have it. We have it already. We can't lose it, in fact. We can't fall out of it. And it can't slip away. And it's not like a raisin in a bun. It's in every spot in us. And it's beautiful. And it's whole and perfect and complete. That's what we learn here. And we're asked to learn that if that's true for me, it's true for you. And how can I see you with those eyes? I have to heal myself of my desire to judge. I have to heal myself of the desire to be better or to be right or to control or anything else, because I can't see you if I don't do that work. I will just see an opinion that I have made that is not true. I want the practitioners to stand up because I want you to know who they are if you don't. And I invite you, if you want to have the consciousness that I'm speaking of today, I want you to know that you can talk to these people. You can say, I want to trust life more. I want to believe in myself more. I want to be saying yes to my life instead of maybe or maybe later or no. I'm ready. Look at these people. They are in service to you. Their job is to stay clear and in peace and in love and in truth. And that's the commitment, the recommitment that we made this weekend. So you can count on these people. Each one of them, you can count on them to stand in the truth with you in any area of your life, individually or inside this community, because they stand for the truth, and that is their commitment, and they will not waver from that. Thank you. So when I began on Friday, I like spontaneity. You noticed that probably. I've been serious for so many years. And I'm finally starting to break free. And it feels really good. So anyway, on Friday, I heard myself saying, as we were starting to do the opening, and I have a way of going around the room where everybody puts themselves into the weaving of the thing. And I heard myself say, here now. And I thought it was like, be here now. But there was a question, and I kept saying it, and I thought, what are you talking about? What is that? I went, oh, well, it'll be revealed in due time. And then I heard, somewhere along Friday night, I heard the word, hear now, O Israel. And I went, oh, I don't do the Bible. I'm a little shaky on the Bible history. But this morning, thank God for Google, I went and I looked up, find me a quote that starts with, "Hear now, O Israel." And I want to share it with you. Why do I want to share it with you? There's something that wants to happen in your life. And only you are the one that can allow it to be so. There's something, a shift that wants to happen in your consciousness, your behavior, your habits, your thinking, your beliefs, something, and it's really important. And you've been waiting too long. And now is the time. Now. Because God said so to me. And I'm becoming more and more obedient. As long as I'm allowed to be playful, I can listen really well. So here's what this says. O Israel, you should listen and be careful to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may multiply greatly, just as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you in a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear now, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might, and love your neighbor as yourself. Now, we've probably all heard this great commandment given thousands of years ago, and we probably have worked with it and sought to understand, what does it mean? What I understand it means today is that we have been asked to listen for a very long time to the fact that God is one. There is one God. And that life is a flowing river of milk and honey, of abundance. And that our job is to see this reality, which is called God, but it's also called lots of things. It's called life. It's called infinite possibility. It's called pure potential. It's called energy. It's called grace. To see that this is our source. This is our truth. This is what we are born from and what we are born for. We do not have to understand this to know that it is so. It is the truth. And you know it. Yes, that's right, you do. And so I ask you to do more than just know it, which I know most of you are. Most of you, just like me, are learning how to love better and learning how to be kinder and to listen more and to be more accepting and more trusting. I know you are, or you'd be watching the baseball game or something. Well, it's not baseball season, whatever it is. You'd be doing something else. But the truth is, knowing it isn't enough. We have to learn how to live it. We have to be it. We have to risk saying how we are, what we feel, and what we would prefer, instead of playing small or keeping it to ourselves or not rocking the boat. We have to see rightly with our heart the things that are invisible to the eye. And then we have to act on them. We have to live them. That is the gift that we are given by this infinite life, bigger than we can comprehend, that experiences itself only through us. We are the ones that say yes. Or we could say no, but why? Just because we're afraid, just because we don't want to feel silly, because we don't want to be rejected, because we don't want to be hurt again. But you know, I promise you, I'm going to teach you an exercise in the workshop today. It's called left hand, right hand. I promise you that when you develop the consciousness of pure possibility and peace and godliness, and keep it in your right hand, and get your attention off your left hand that goes, oh my gosh, will there be enough, and when, and what if this happens, and what if it doesn't, and we shift our attention from here to here. That's the greatest spiritual practice you'll ever learn, how to shift from here to here. And when you learn to live here, you don't have to worry about how to do it over here. The stuff that doesn't work falls away with its own weight because you're not feeding it anymore. And the stuff that is yours to do comes to you naturally. And this has so much more power than that, that just going there will bring you the guidance that you need if you let this still small voice become bigger and you listen to it more. I am so grateful to be able to bring this message to you today. I am so grateful to be listening to this message myself, to be becoming to believe it, and to be willing to face those things in me that I'm not proud of, and to be willing to tell the truth about what hurts and what I don't like, and to be willing to ask for support and not have to be strong all the time. That's learning. That's the spiritual journey. That's why we show up on Sundays, really. So give yourself the gift that Spirit is giving to you. Let go of your attention over here on all those little things that don't really matter. As people are dying, they do not say, I wished I'd recovered the couch. They do not say, if only you had, become a doctor. They don't say those things that seem so important at other stages in life. They're not what's important. This is what's important. Being here together is what's important. Learning how to walk this journey of life as a spiritual being. That's what's important. And it will support you no matter what trial or tribulation you have. You will feel loved and cherished because that's the truth. Because that's what we're here for. To do that. To love God, to love ourselves, and to love each other, and to create vehicles where people can heal. I know that's so. And I'm grateful for that. And I thank you for being here, being open to this message today. Namaste. Well, that's just the icing on the cake. That is just it. There's so many wonderful things that have happened this morning already. There's so many amazing people in this community. There are so many creative beings. If you see a man walking around with a big burgundy red bundle under his arm, his name's Hugo. If you don't know him, ask him what that big bundle is. You'll be thrilled. I want to thank the musicians. I want to thank everyone who's been in service today. I want to thank the sound people. I want to thank everyone who gives so this community can have a home. And so let's pray together. And let's pray from our right hand consciousness. Let's give up the prayer that says, I can't, why don't you? And let's shift our attention to the prayer that says, hallelujah. Hallelujah. There is a new day dawning. And there is a moment, and I am called to it, to know that the power of choice is in my heart and in my mind, and it's in my hands. And I choose rightly to serve that which is holy, which is sacred, which is love. And I consciously choose to let go of all that isn't that, so that I can experience this heaven on earth, which has been told is my destiny. And I claim that for me and for every person in this room, and I know it's true for the whole planet. And so I ask you in your mind's eye right now to bring your beloved people into your mind. See them all around you. See them, even the ones you disagree with. Just let them be here with you. And look at them from this consciousness that says, you are family, we are connected, we are one. We are one. I am sorry for forgetting who you are sometimes. I love and accept you. And even if I don't, I'm trying my best. And you can help me. And we can do this together as we accept one another and respect one another. And so this day, this moment, I know that healing happens right here. It happens through each of us because we let it. And the healing is we see the truth. Everybody is a holy being. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And we know it. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And that's the truth. And so let us nurture this. Develop this. Look for it. Listen for it. Be it. Let you be the place that other people notice. Be it, give it, circulate it, love it, and it becomes the reality that we live in. God is all there is. We are each so blessed on this journey of awakening. Thank you. Thank you, life. It is so, and I let it be so in my daily actions. And so it is.
And so it is.